Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Alright, now, this is an article from RT News. Okay, as you can see, it was published today, August 1st, and updated an hour ago. Okay, and it says here, Israel has proof. Iran behind deadly ship attack off Oman. All right, Prime Minister Bennett claims. And as you read in this article, you'll see that they're basically planning on some sort of retaliation, okay, or some attack on Iran, all right, in response to this. Now, you know, Iran came out and said that, you know, they weren't behind it, all right, but Israel, you know, as we're going to read in here, you'll see in their mind, they're just certain. You know, they're like, even if it isn't Iran, now we want it to be Iran. Okay, and you have the UK, as you can see, you know, pretty much backing Israel on this. Okay, it says UK accuses Iran of deliberate and targeted attack on Israeli-operated tanker off Oman. Now, you need to understand that, number one, all right, according to prophecy, we know that Israel, okay, is going to be one of the main leading factors in World War III as well. You know, as the scriptures talk about, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay, and we know Iran as well, because Iran, okay, the Persians they are actually backed by Russia. Okay, and Russia is in cahoots with China. Okay, and as you can see, Israel is backed by a lot of, you know, these European powers, like as you can already see, the UK, you know, backing them up, the US, of course. All right, so if something was to go down, if let's say Israel does retaliate in a major way against Iran, we know ultimately that's going to lead, you know, more into prophecy. All right, but that's going to draw, all right, a lot of these nations towards that area. Okay, it's gonna be like a vortex that's going to draw these nations there. All right, because each of them, you know, back each other up. So if Israel and Iran get into it, the U.S. is going to get into it. If the U.S. gets into it, Russia's going to get into it. Okay? And we know that we're at that time when these prophecies are to be fulfilled. Okay, but ultimately we understand the order of prophecy, that in order for this destruction, you know, the nuclear missiles to come, all right, the Marcus, okay, the mark has to be made mandatory, has to be pushed out here. So when we see talks like this of, you know, that ultimate prophecy of World War III, the nuclear missiles, you know, and things getting heated up, we know that we're even closer to the foreleading prophecy, which is Marcus. Okay, so it says Israel's Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has claimed there is proof that Iran is behind the deadly ship attack off the coast of Oman, adding that the incident is a reminder of Iranian aggression, and not to forget that Iran has been the uranium enrichment. All right, they ever since the nuclear deal, all right, that they scrapped, you know, it basically got done away with. Their uranium enrichment has been going up and up and up. And it's getting to the point where they can actually start using it to make weapons, which is what these nations fear. But according to prophecy, this will take place. All right, so it says the incident on Thursday, which was widely publicized on Friday after 2 crew members were confirmed dead, has previously been described by officials as a drone-style attack. It targeted an Israeli-operated merchant vessel in the Arabian Sea. Bennett claimed in a Sunday press conference that Iranians behind the attack wanted an Israel target. All right, and you know they're gonna put a lot of you know propaganda behind it to really draw out that you know that narrative, you know, as though, yeah, they really have something against us, and which they do. All right, them Iranians, all right, and them Israelis, man, they're like mortal enemies, you know, like mutual enemies, you know, rivals, because they, you know, they just, that tension is definitely there. All right, it says, and has settled on the Mercer Street tanker. I determine with absolute certainty Iran carried out the attack against the ship. he said. The intelligence evidence for this exists, and we expect the international community to make it clear to Iran or to the Iranian regime that they have made a serious mistake. Israel has denied responsibility for the attack, something Bennett labeled cowardly. But wait, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Israel the ones that I think they assassinated one of the Iran's scientists or so? Let's see. Scientist. There we go. It says here, this is last year. Motion of Fakhrizadeh, Iran scientist, killed by remote-controlled weapon. All right, and I believe some of them, some suspected that Israel was behind it. Now, I don't think it was confirmed. But let's see. It says Iran believes Israel and an exiled opposition group used a remote-control weapon to shoot dead top nuclear scientist Motion. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. On Friday. All right. It says here, Security Chief Ali Shamkhani said the attackers had used electronic equipment. All right, when Motion's car was fired on east of the Tehran capital. See, so they accused Israel of being behind it. It says here Israel has not publicly commented on the allegations of its involvement. See, so I mean, if they were behind it, then they're out here acting as though they've never done anything to provoke Iran. The U.S. has done many things to provoke Iran. Israel has done many things to provoke Iran. All right, and as we're gonna read, well, the Iranians are saying that they're not behind this. All right, but we're going to have to watch and see what is going to be the response, because Israel is saying that there will be a response. It says Iran has denied responsibility for the attack, something Bennett labeled cowardly, while promising a swift response from Israel itself. So what kind of response is this going to be? Is this going to be an attack on Iran? What is it going to be? All right, now Israel is confident because in their mind they know they're going to have allies to back them up. Okay, but as the further and further we get into prophecy, the less and less these nations care about the full consequences. They'll like to call it MAD, mutually assured destruction. If these superpowers went to war with each other, the less and less they care about that, because now the Lord is putting into their minds via the angels that are working on their minds to go into that warlike mode. The Lord said, "I will put a evil thought." Into the mind of, I believe, the Russians. Okay, so it's not just the Russians, but all these nations, the Lord is preparing them for war. It says the Zionist regime, Israel, has created insecurity, terror, and violence. These accusations about Iran's involvement are condemned by Tehran. Iranian Foreign Minister spokesman Saeed Khatibzadeh said this week, "In any case, we know how to send a message to Iran in our own way," Bennett promised in response on Sunday. So I wonder what that's going to look like. The attack, the Prime Minister added, is a threat to global interests, including freedom of navigation and international trade. Now, we understand that, regardless of what the retaliation is, this doesn't mean that the second they retaliate, the next day World War III pops off, the day after that the nuclear missiles fly, and then we in the kingdom. No. All right, that's not how it works. Now, it will definitely escalate things, all right, to the point of, war, all right, depending on how the Lord speeds it up. But remember, there are certain things that need to take place before this war goes full nuclear. So yes, they could be at war. Yes, they could be, going back and forth, but the Lord will have it on a level where, it doesn't escalate drastically, so that other prophecies can be fulfilled. And by the time, all right, that everything is set in its right order, then it, it fully, pops off. Okay. It says the two people left dead in the attack were the ship's Romanian captain and a British crew member. Israel's ambassador to the United States and United Nations, Gilad Erdan, said earlier this week he has spoken to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and discussed formulating a real and effective international response. All right, so more than likely, from the way it's sounding, it might involve the U.S. It says attacks on Israel and Iranian-owned vessels have increased in frequency around the Persian Gulf, with ships reporting fires being started, though most of these ships have not sustained significant damage or been forced to cease their operations. All right, but what do we know? We know that ultimately this is leading to that prophecy, okay, of World War III. Now, you have Israel accusing Iran, but now you have the UK, all right, saying here, highly likely, UK accuses Iran of deliberate targeted attack on Israeli-operated tanker off Oman. And I'll put the link to both of these articles in the description so you can read it yourself if you would like. Alright, but as you can see, it says it is highly likely that Iran was behind the deadly drone attack on the Israeli-operated tanker MV Mercer Street off the coast of Oman, Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said, threatening Tehran with a concerted response. Okay, so the UK up in here. We believe this attack was deliberate, targeted, and a clear violation of international law by Iran, said a statement released by the Foreign Office on Sunday. It went on to say it is highly likely that Iran attacked the Mercer Street tanker with one of its drones as the vessel was passing through neutral waters off the coast of Oman. Well, where's the proof? You can't go off of highly likely. You need, if you're gonna make a decision like this and accuse one nation of breaking international law or violating it, then you gotta have proof for that. You know, you can't just we know, we believe for certain it was them, and then there's no proof of that. Okay, it says the MV Mercer Street, a Liberian flag tanker operated by the London-based Zodiac Maritime Company of Israeli billionaire Eyal Ofer, was targeted in an attack on July 29th, northeast of the Omani island of Masira. 2 people were killed in the incident, one of them reportedly the Romanian captain, and the other confirmed as a British security guard. Okay, and then well, they say here that it was a suicide drone. Okay. Of course, London condemned what it called the unlawful and callous attack, and demanded Iran end such attacks, but stopped short of taking any retaliatory steps. Instead, the Foreign Secretary said the UK was working with our international partners on a concerted response to the incident. So let's see how this goes. We know Israel, they're itching. All right, they're itching to retaliate. Okay, but all this is happening because it's prophecy. Okay, so let's actually get the book of Proverbs 21:1. All right, and understand that everything, all these decisions that are being made, the thoughts that they're thinking and doing this and doing that, the Most High is putting it into their minds to fulfill prophecy. All right, this is Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Now, a modern day king would be likened unto a president or a prime minister or a ruler of a particular nation. All right, and their heart, meaning their mind, when you go into the Hebrew word for heart, is lab, which means your mind. So their mind is in the hand of the Lord, meaning the Lord has control over it, and he can turn it, put whatever thoughts he wants into it to fulfill certain actions. Okay, as he's done many times in the past, all throughout history. Okay, so now let's go here to the book of Revelation, the 9th chapter. Let's see, right around the 13th verse. Alright, let's actually start at 12. Alright, this is Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. Now, when you read the first verses above, it goes into, the First World War. Alright, and then the 12th verse says, one woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter, which would be World War II and World War III. Now, World War II is past, meaning that there's what, one more woe left. There's one more world war to go. So people, out of fear of accepting and acknowledging the truth, they'll say, no, it's not going to happen. These nations know better. They're not going to do that. If they go to war, everything will be destroyed. No, not everything. All right, prophecy will be fulfilled. America will be destroyed. Israel is going to be cleansed. All right, other parts of the world are going to be hit. Okay, but this will happen. Now, it says here, Revelation 9:13, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Okay, so just as we know that the Lord works on the minds of these kings, he sends his angels to different parts to set up, all right, different events that lead in the direction of prophecy to fulfill prophecy. So you have these angels over there in the Euphrates, all right, in that part of the earth, which are causing different things to happen in there, all right, whether it's working on the minds of different kings or different rulers to do certain things, or causing different events to happen here and there. It's all leading to that World War III, all right, and that's what's gonna cause the destruction, as it says, to slay the third part of men, all right, which is Esau, Edom. But we know that that's gonna involve the wicked of our people as well, all right, and some of these heathens. Okay, then it goes into the missiles and the nuclear warheads, you know, and all of that. Okay, but we know, according to prophecy, especially in the book of Revelation, it's written all throughout, all right, about World War III, about the nuclear destruction, okay, about the second death, about the deliverance. So when we see articles like this, we know that what? We are getting closer and closer to that time. The whole world is heading in the direction of prophecy. And everywhere you look, every couple of minutes, there's what? Articles and updates and news clips pertaining to prophecy. These last end time prophecies. All right, so we know that we're at that time, and as the scriptures say, our salvation is nearer than when we believe. All right, so, you know, stay on your watch, you know, keep watching, keep praying. All right, that Lord willing, when these things do come, all right, that they do come quick, but when they do come, we get delivered from them. All right, so with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.